I was going to just add before the Washington Elementary, which sits across from Gonzales Park, just to give people space, which is, I believe, Rosecrans and
Cressy. Rosecrans and Cressy.
Yeah. But just that doesn't happen without the support of the Unified School District. And so when we were running up or butting up against the city, we decided instead of leaving the city of Compton, let's just try a different district or agency. And we found great reception with this Unified School Board. And so that was Marjorie Shipp and Noelle Estrada. Marjorie Shipp's a great asset. And without her, we don't get into Compton High, which we've been very effective at developing with MRCA. They have a pocket park out there, but they then have a teacher who's just as interested in the creek and exposing her kids not only to the science and the biology, but as Saul was, pointedly, highlighted the cultural aspects of what that creek has meant to this community. And so the students, who's called Compton High Recycling Club, have taken ownership of that back, park. But again, that doesn't happen without the Unified School Board and Marjorie Shipp, and then we don't have Washington Elementary taking place without that. And so I think but as we were talking about, that takes time. We've been meeting with Marjorie through the Compton Creek Task Force for 5+ years. And, our resilience in staying with the city and Marjorie's openness to exploring, the creek, yeah, she too didn't know much about it, but then opened up and now is like pushing for fresh food, wants a community garden in all of her schools. So she's got this huge program that she wants to unveil and is more than happy. She's waiting for us to get the centennial. And that's how positive she wants the creek to be embedded in the school.
We had a great success story with working with the students at Compton High School, where we had done a leadership training with the students, and we tasked them with organizing the Earth Day in the creek last year. And then they made committees. They made the marketing committee. They made the organizational committee, and they put us so to shame. It was actually embarrassing. I've been working now here for 5 years, and in 4 months, these kids they pulled off the best Earth Day cleanup we've had in the creek. And we originally said, it's great to have raffle prizes, so you're going to have to go ask some stores for some prizes. And they got all dressed up, and they went to I think they went to Home Depot, and Home Depot gave them a barbecue to raffle off. So they were so empowered. There was no stopping them. They had 45 raffle prizes at the end of the creek because nobody told them no. Every single place they went to said, sure, you can have a gift card, you can have something. So honestly, the raffle took longer than the cleanup. But these kids were just absolutely beautiful because they were empowered and they did it all themselves. So it was really exciting.
Okay, I'm going to ask, I see that Oscar had his hand up. I want to get through one more question and then start to wrap up the conference. So I was going to ask another question, but if it's super pertinent, Oscar? Arturo?
No, it's all right.
That's why you weren't responding to me. I'm going to make an assumption here. It's from what we've been talking about. Allison was talking about how the city outreaches. There's banners, there's notifications and things. I'm going to make an assumption here. Maybe the first part of the question is you tell me if I'm right. A successful outreach effort would be a partnership with a big, possibly technical, resource-rich organization, which could be an agency or a city or a school district. And Compton Unified is not rich, but they are. We can think of them as resource rich because they have they have hundreds of $1 million budget every year. So that's what I mean by resource rich. A partnership between this big resource rich organization or agency or district and a smaller, more connected grassroots organization, of which Heal the Bay is definitely not smaller and more connected to Compton, but they've been making great efforts to connect to the groups of people who might not even be a grassroots organization yet, but just kind of come together. Or there's other examples like El Nido. They've taken it on their initiative to just get involved with the creek, and there's the block at Cedar and Kemp where we did the cleanup a million years ago. So does that sound about right, that a successful outreach effort would be a partnership between one of these big organizations that has some of the technical skills and some of the money and some of we'll move on that kind of, okay, I'll direct staff, and a smaller organization that kind of knows the people and gets it down to the ground level? Does that sound, am I seeing any objection to that?
I would just say that it's sure easier. It sure helps when you can call somebody and they bring 45 shovels, or they bring, or they write the press release, or they bring the podium and the microphone. Partners help.
Okay, yes?
I would just add resources. You need to think of your volunteers or members of the organization. Think of people as resources, and that's kind of what Meredith is saying, such as the churches in the community that might bring their members to
So you're saying that churches in the community would be an example of the grassroots?
Churches and even the schools, because then they can bring their students or their teachers, etc.
So could everybody hear what Christina said? Christina was saying that you would look at the organizations that had a lot of people and could communicate that to the people as a part of the partnership. Right. Okay, so if that assumption can move forward there, I'm going to ask, what organizations in Compton can partner together? Now, we've talked about a somewhat successful partnership with the school district. What organizations, other organizations, can partner together? And go ahead and tackle the city if you want to, mention them and imagine a pathway to partnering with the city that would be enhancing brainstorm it a little bit. What organizations could we partner with a small group and a big organization to do more effective outreach in Compton regarding the creek?